Good morning, everyone, and we welcome you to Blues Game Day Live alongside Joe Vitale. I am Darren Robert Pang, and the Blues got the Anaheim Ducks tonight in town, and they are in search of their 9th straight win on home ice. That would tie a record set in 1991 by that powerful St. Louis Blues club that established that at the old St. Louis Arena, my friend.
You played in that arena.
You know, I did.
That was a great barn.
It was a great
barn. Tell us
barn.
about your experience in that barn.
I stunk.
Yeah. So did the building.
Lost a playoff series there. Just remember coming into it, there was always a home and home. There was always a, it was a back-to-back or, maybe a December 23rd, December 26th. There's so many good moments of it. And you knew it was going to be incredibly boisterous, and you did something wrong. I got a couple of beers tapped on my head when I got pulled and went to the bench and flung a water bottle at a guy. I mean, it was fun stuff. I loved it. Actually, I did love it.
Old school.
Yeah, old school hockey, old school barn.
And the Blues can tie that team tonight with
so
9 home wins in a row.
Yeah, 1991.
Wow, it's a long time.
Yeah.
I was 6. First grade.
I was retired by a year.
You look good for your age, though.
Thank you very much.
Jeez.
I retired at 26 for
I
crying
told my
out
wife how old you were the other day. She could not believe it. It's
loud.
a true story.
She thought I was 76.
No, it's a true story. She thought you were
Really?
in your 40s.
Oh, that's really love your wife. How's she doing?
She's hanging in there. Yeah,
Okay.
she's getting close. She's getting bigger, but that's what happens in pregnancy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, it does. It usually does, Joe. You like the last game against the Rangers?
Boy, did I.
Did you like the end of the last game against the Rangers?
I like that, too.
Little spirit.
I like it from both sides.
Yeah.
Jacob Trouba, he takes that $5,000 slashing penalty, which is unfortunate for him. But you know
Can't
what?
believe he got fined $5,000 for slashing a couple
I
times.
can't believe it either. I mean, and Curb
That's just
said it.
me.
Curb said up there, I was like, I don't think he's going to fine for that.
right.
I like Trouba for the whack on Vince Dunn. If it were me and someone's coming into my zone that late in the game on a power play, I'm whacking you too. But then I love Vince Dunn's reaction too.
Absolutely.
Little jam there right at the end. Drop, bam, bam, 2 lefties right in the old jaw.
And everybody was involved.
Everyone
And
was
you know what? If you missed it, at the very end of the game, too, the Blues players all on the ice. They wouldn't leave the ice, center ice, until the Rangers were off the ice.
Right.
I was like, I wish the game would have started this way. But the Blues get a real good win there. 2 defensemen score again. Vince Dunn, the aforementioned, and, of course, Robert Bortuzzo, one of your favorites, one of my favorites, coming out of the penalty box. All he does is score on Hall of Famers. I was looking through a note. His goals have been against Brodeur, Fleury, Rask, Quick, Lundqvist, Gibson. 3 of them won Vezinas.
Yeah. I'm really glad I listened to your call on that goal, and I'm really glad you said it because this is what I said too. It looked like he was going. He's got a funny way of looking like he's going to go
One
high
way?
glove, and
Yes,
he
he does.
fans on it on purpose.
Yes.
And he goes on the ice, and it kind of slides in every single time with that. But boy, wasn't that exciting!
I loved it. That was great, and the Blues are getting some offense from their defense. Let's continue with that for a second because Colton Parayko, again this morning, skate going on behind us here. They did not skate yesterday. Out of the rotation, he and Carl Gunnarsson are kept out of the lineup once again. And Craig Berube, you got to love the fact that he's not apt to change. I mean, if you're in and you're winning, and he's keeping them in. I'm looking at Nico Mikkola's numbers right now. And Mikkola has gone from 12.31 a game his first one, 15.51 his second game, to 17.30 his third game. I mean, they're giving him such a good look that it tells me that Doug Armstrong's looking at this so closely at the trade deadline. Do you have to add a depth defenseman in there if you've got a couple of them?
You said it.
Who knows?
I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right. And that deadline is going to quickly approach on us here pretty soon, Darren. All-Star break, bye week next week, and then before you know it, bam, it's going to be right in front of you. We talked to Mike Van Ryn on the broadcast after the game, right after the Blues won that game, and he loves Mikko back there. He loves Bortuzzo back there. He loves them for their size. He even said they're kind of tall, gangly-looking guys. They look awkward at times, but they're just so big, and they have those long sticks, and they recover so incredibly well.
Athletic at times.
They do.
Athletic.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he said. I was just quoting Mike Van Ryn. But, they're so big, he likes them. And he even said that he's earning my trust. Mike Van Ryn speaking. He's earning my trust where I feel like I can put him out there, and I feel comfortable him being out there against other teams' first lines. And that is a really good thing to have. And you know what? You're absolutely right. Craig Berube, you're winning. He's playing well. There's really no reason to change it. If I'm a player on this team, we've talked about it before with Zach Sanford, Mackenzie McEachran. If I'm on this team, you don't want to slip up. You don't want to take your foot off the pedal, even for a second, even for a game. Because if you do that, you're out, and you don't know when you're coming back in.
A good example of that is in the 3-game road winless streak. I was going to say they got a point in Vegas, but winless streak. The one player that caught the attention of Craig Berube that could have been out if he didn't play so competitively was Mackenzie McEachran. And that might have been one of those openings for someone else, and bang, he's not in there. But he played so hard and so competitively, even when the score was down and no matter what the situation. So he's deserved that opportunity. Jacob De La Rose played in the last game. Will play again tonight with Ivan Barbashev on that line with Mackenzie McEachran. I thought, let's go to Zach Sanford quickly before we go to the Anaheim Ducks. Strong game. I think he's building up some traction here.
Very good, very strong. I mean, his one move alone set him up for 2 goals, and he had another one in the neutral zone. His toe drag. I know I said it a couple weeks ago, and everyone laughed at me the way he can, he reaches long out, he brings it, drags it in the middle. Everyone was laughing then.
No one was laughing then.
Oh, you were laughing.
Well, I couldn't contain myself. It's the way you're describing.
Well, actually, you weren't laughing. You were crying.
Yeah, I was crying.
But his toe drag on the Vince Dunn goal, his toe drag to the neutral zone on his own goal from Ivan Barbashev.
Good hands.
You see his hands. You see how they can affect the game. But for me, Zach Sanford has hit a new gear over the last 3 games because he's impacting the game physically and foremost. I mean, Ristolainen, him, you were right by you. Ristolainen and the Buffalo Sabres, they're mouthing off. They're slugging each other. Last game, he's getting the attention of D'Angelo. He's getting the attention of Michael Haley. When you're a young player, or an old player for that matter, when you get physically into a game, Pat Maroon used to say it all the time. He loves chirping. He loves physically getting engaged in the game because then it brings his game to a new level. I think we're starting to see that with Zach Sanford. I think he's emotionally, physically getting into games very early, and we're seeing the product because of that. He's been terrific.
Well, the one guy that's been great against the St. Louis Blues, although they've only got 39 points and are last in the West, they came in here in November and beat the Blues. I believe it was 4-1. One guy that had 3 goals in that game, Derek Grant, will not play. He's been out with a shoulder injury. But Ryan Getzlaf against the Blues, 10 games, 11 points in his last 10 games. And obviously was good here the last time, 1-1-2. So even though it's a team that's on the bottom, a lot of teams last year when the Blues were on the bottom around this time, they underestimated the Blues. We went in there and popped them in the chin. This Anaheim Ducks team somehow plays their best against the Blues.
They do really do. And in this building as well. And you look at some of the names, Getzlaf, Henrique, Silverberg. I mean, they have some goal scorers. And Darren, I always get nervous seeing John Gibson. I don't know why. It's something about him, and maybe you can clarify.
He's from Pittsburgh.
Maybe he's from Pittsburgh. He's a good USA boy, but he's a goalie to me that I don't care how good or bad his team is. He scares me in the sense that he's one of those goaltenders that for whatever reason, I just feel like he could go out and steal a game. So that makes me a little nervous, so the Blues better be ready.
Yeah, it looks like Jake Allen's going to get the nod and goal. He's been terrific against the Ducks. I'm looking at it right now. 6-3-0 with 1 shutout and a minuscule, mini-me-ish 1.92 goals against average. And in the 9 games against them, 3 goals against or less in all 9. Going back to Silverberg, I believe that's another player that's out and injured for the Anaheim Ducks. Tough one. So they're obviously he's basically retired on long-term IR. Eves is in trouble that way too. Richie, Terry, and Silverberg look like they're on the outs for them as well. So big game tonight. Monday night game. Tickets still available. Enterprise Center has been absolutely rocking. I mean,
it has been.
Great walk-up sales, great atmosphere early on. The atmosphere against the New York Rangers was fantastic. So let's cap off this homestand and see if the boys can get their 9th win in a row at home to tie the all-time Blues franchise mark set in 1991. Radio side, 6 o'clock on the pregame show. Alex Ferrari, he's in the stands watching as he always does.
Hardest working man biz.
You and Chris Kerber have got the call at 7 o'clock on ESPN Radio, and John Kelly and I have got the call on Fox Sports Midwest. The Hall of Famer Bernie Federko, I'm looking over the shoulder. He's up there too. He's grinding it out up there with Scotty Warman. They'll have the pregame show at 6:30. We'll have the call at 7 o'clock on Fox Sports Midwest. Hope you have a great day in this blistery style of cold weather with a little bit of snow on it. For Joe Vitale, I'm Darren Robert Pang.